Mars Inc. claims that 16% of its M&Ms are green. A sample of 100 M&Ms is randomly selected. Find the mean the mean and standard deviation for the number of green M&Ms in such a group of 100 M&Ms. And then we'll suppose that we do our own sample of 100 M&Ms and find 8 green M&Ms. Would 8 be an unusual value? So first of all, let's double check that this would result in a binomial probability distribution. There are a fixed number of trials. That's the first thing we check, and there are 100 in this case. If we consider each of the 100 M&Ms to be a trial. The trials are independent, so assuming that we're choosing 100 out of a much larger population, we can treat this as independent even though we're sampling without replacement. So we're going to assume the trials are independent. Each trial can have one of two outcomes. Either we get a green M&M or we do not. And 3, the probability of a success is, 4, the probability of a success is the same in each trial. We're going to use the probability of a success being 0.16 or 16%. So to calculate the mean, since this is a binomial probability distribution, we can simply multiply the number of trials times the probability of a success. So n in this case is 100. P, or the probability of a success, is 0.16. So those calculate, of course, to be 16. That means in a sample of 100 M&Ms, 16 of them, on average, should be green. So the standard deviation, similarly, we can use our shortcut formula because this is a binomial probability distribution. So that is the square root of NPQ. That will be the square root of 100 times, because there's 100 trials, so that's our n. Our p will be 0.16 because the probability of getting a green M&M will be 0.16. And finally, the probability of getting something other than a green M&M, or a probability of a failure, is 0.84. All under a square root. So finally, throw all this into your calculator and you'll get 3.67. So we've calculated the mean and standard deviation. The last thing to do is the second question. Suppose we did our own sample of 100 M&Ms, found 8. Is this an unusual value? Well, let's calculate the maximum and minimum usual value. But notice that if our mean is 16 and we get 8, we really have to only consider the possibility of this being less than the minimum usual value. So let's just calculate the minimum usual value, which is the mean minus 2 times the standard deviation, or 16 minus 2 times 3.67. Throwing all this into the calculator, you get 8.66. So if 8.66 is the minimum usual value, that means we shouldn't get any fewer than 8.66 M&Ms if we're only considering usual values. So 8 would indeed be unusual. We would expect to get more than 8 if we were sampling 100 M&Ms.